This didn't happen by accident. You intentionally have chosen to be here today.
The BodCon 2024 replay. This panel will empower you to recognize and embrace your full potential in both your personal and professional life. Learn strategies to confidently own your strengths, advance your career, and stop minimizing your greatness. Featuring Karly Polosnik, body positive advocate and content creator, Laurie Sharp-Page, Chief Coping Officer, and Meghan Morin, founder of Melanated Beauty Spa.
Hi, everybody. Hey, fabulous panel. Okay, so first, a quick reintroduction of myself. I'm back again. My name is still Jamie Hess, and I introduced myself earlier with a lot of the things that I do today. So today, I'm a content creator, a keynote speaker, an on-air personality on shows like Good Morning America, The View, The Today Show, and also on QVC, where I became friends with Gabby and watched Shapermint slay the game. But prior to all of that, I spent 17 years as a senior level PR executive on brands like McDonald's, General Motors, LinkedIn, Barry's Boot Camp, and W Hotels Worldwide. When my Instagram took off and I started as a wellness influencer, I began to build myself as a brand. So I ditched my corporate job. And by the way, many people, including my own mom, were like, "Are you nuts? You don't leave a 6-figure job with health insurance to go be an influencer." And I was pregnant, by the way. So leaving that health insurance was a big thing. But I said, with all due respect, Mom, I think it's going to work. And I 5X'd my income within 18 months. Now, the reason that I was able to do that and build myself as a money-earning brand so quickly was because my expertise was in building brands. So I was at a very unique juxtaposition of being a PR executive who used to hire the influencers and being a content creator. So I really know what it takes to make a successful brand. And you, my friends, not just my illustrious panel, but everybody watching, you are all brands. So I think we all know in today's world, our front-facing persona is a brand-building exercise, and our confidence and character are all pieces of that puzzle. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Just so you all know, I have a course called Brand Ninja. If you want to know more about that, it's coachjamiehess.com. I teach people how to get the brand deals of their dreams. But we're going to talk today to this amazing panel about reclaiming your career and confidence and how to stop downplaying your greatness. I love that idea so much. And these are some women right here that definitely don't downplay their greatness. They have used it to build incredible things. So Meghan Morin did I say it right, Meghan?
Yes, you did.
Okay,
that's right.
Okay, it's spelled so beautifully. I'm like, okay, good. You are incredible, my friend. Obviously a highly skilled and dedicated beauty spa manager, but you are the founder of Melanated Beauty Spa in Miami, the first day spa created with melanin in mind that has been featured in Marie Claire magazine. We also have the fabulous Laurie Sharp-Page, a seasoned psychotherapist, best-selling author, and chief coping officer at Sprouting Change. And of course, Karly Polosnik. Did I say that right, Karly?
It's Polosnik.
Okay, good. All right. Thank you. But I love everything about you because you are a body positivity advocate and content creator, empowering women to love themselves unconditionally. So welcome, everybody. Thank you so much. I'm really excited for this panel in particular. We're going to really dig in because I have some very specific talking points I want to get to. I want to talk today about self-doubt. When I, as a coach, talk to people about how to step into claiming the brand deals of their dreams, so 5, 6, and sometimes 7 figures, oftentimes the first thing I hear is imposter syndrome. Well, I'm not there yet. It couldn't be me. A million reasons why they're not that girl. And I say, that's cop-out. You are that girl. So Karly, let me start with you. I'd love to hear a little bit about how people can stop downplaying their greatness and stop the cycle of imposter syndrome.
Yeah, for sure. Imposter syndrome is something that I think we struggle with regardless of if we're in front of the camera, behind the camera, like anything in between as it relates to our career. And it's really hard because you always have that little tiny voice being like, can you do this? I don't know if you can do this. And something that I really like to do and remind myself is that confidence isn't like a state of being. Confidence is choosing the actions that make you feel confident. So I can't remember a time ever where I've been like, okay, now I feel confident, so I'm going to make this choice. The actions that I'm doing breed confidence for me. And so as it relates to imposter syndrome, sometimes I have to just do it scared or do it maybe with a little bit of self-doubt in the back of my mind. But just like any other habit, building self-confidence is a habit. You have to practice it. It's never going to be like, I feel so confident right now and I'm going to make this choice and I'm going to be really confident. You have to choose and do the actions, and that really helps me with my imposter syndrome, because most of the time I'm scared, but I'm still going to do it because that helps build my overall self-confidence.
I love that. And Laurie, from a clinical perspective, does that track? Like, what kind of advice are you giving as it pertains to imposter syndrome? Like, we can all kind of try to step into and like fake it till you make it. But is there anything that people can really do to dig into their own psyche to step through that?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, what Karly said is exactly right on. And that is a journey that I have also found myself in and followed. But I think one thing we really got to normalize is that self-doubt is part of the process. A lot of times we think that if self-doubt is showing up that we're doing something wrong, it usually means we're doing something right. We're growing, we're flexing, we're into something unknown, uncertain. And that self-doubt is reflective of that. So I really like to tell people not to be all an enemy with their self-doubt. Recognize that it is a piece of this very complex puzzle. And if it's showing up for you, something is going right.
Oh, I love that. So Meghan, when you were starting your salon, your day spa, I mean, what a huge accomplishment as an entrepreneur. Did you have any of that self-doubt? I mean, was it something that you just stepped through? And how did you, because I feel that women, a lot of the times, we downplay our achievements because we think we're being humble. But I feel like men don't have as hard of a time stepping into their greatness and telling us how great they are. So what is that kind of delicate interplay for you as a business owner?
Yeah, I mean, for me, obviously self-doubt, like, Laurie said, it's a part of the process. You're going to have moments of doubt, especially when you have big dreams, right? We can't predict the future. We can only hope for what we envision. And so for me, how I have been able to just overcome that is really just, I have to keep going. Things oftentimes don't work out the way I plan for them to work out. But one thing that I keep on doing, I just have to keep pushing forward, restructuring, reprioritizing, reimagining what the future could look like based off of what I thought and what happened and how I can move forward.
I love that. So Karly, back to you. It's interesting. My second question is, the specific question was, what are some of your most effective strategies for building confidence in the workplace? But as an influencer and content creator, we also have a new workplace. A lot of us are solopreneurs. So what does that look like for you?
Yeah, it's very interesting because I came from a corporate background, so I know the office culture of it all. But when you're self-employed, when you own your own business, a lot of the time you're by yourself all of the time, which is very interesting. It's like very much a double-edged sword. Sometimes you're your biggest advocate, sometimes you're kind of your biggest hater. So something that I really like to practice when it comes to something like comparison syndrome, or when I feel like I'm not confident in my career and anything like that, is pulling people off a pedestal. Like, I think that a lot of us will see someone and be like, oh, she's doing better than me. She's getting more brand deals than me. Oh, she's doing this. She's doing this. But really, like, the common thread between me and basically all other influencer is the job that we're doing. So I like to pull people off the pedestal and realize, like, we all have our own unique talents and what we bring to the table. And I have to be confident in what I bring, but also stop, I guess, idolizing other people on these pedestals from the outside in. I don't know what's happening in their lives, so I have to be, confident and happy in mine and realize we're all kind of at the same place.
Well, I love that. I oftentimes say that the people I want to mute because they annoy me, and they probably annoy me because they're doing something I wish I was doing. And I'm like, and I anger scroll by them. And I'm like, maybe you should turn on notifications.
Yeah.
Maybe you should ask her how she's doing it. But Laurie, I'd love to ask you, because there's also something to be said for protecting ourselves, right? If we're being triggered. So like, how does that sit with you? Should we push ourselves to kind of lean into some of that, to like get bolder against those insecurities? Or like, do we risk kind of, shattering our peace?
I think it is a balance. It's a dance that we're always doing through time. And I think because of that, we have to give ourselves a lot of compassion, because how we handle one situation and maybe the great way to handle that situation. But when a similar situation we're faced with it, it may not make sense for us to act in that same way. So I think we have to give ourselves a lot of compassion. But the other thing is, I think we have to recognize that there's enough space for everybody, and everybody is unique, niche, and ideas and work, and the clients and the work is out there for you. You really have to focus on getting confident in knowing you, and the work will come. That's my belief as an entrepreneur, having been an entrepreneur for over 10 years now. But I do think there are going to be times when you feel a heavy level of resistance, and it's okay to listen to that too. Rest and taking time to heal as you grow rapidly in your journey is okay, and it's needed. So I do think that a heavy dose of compassion is appropriate, and allowing yourself to follow your unique journey and allowing that to change every day is part of how we take care of ourselves and grow our sense of confidence in our specific career journeys.
Thank you for that. So Meghan, I'm curious. So many people have the dream to do what you did, to go on the entrepreneurial journey and to start something. I mean, I met a woman the other day at an entrepreneurial conference that was like, how Sprinkles Cupcakes started cupcakes? I had that idea first. And I was like, babe, because you like to make cupcakes doesn't mean that Sprinkles stole your idea. But not everyone goes out and does it. And you did it. So can you share with us where you found that confidence to go out and take the step that most people stop right before that step?
Yeah. That's such a good question. So background on me, my father, he is an entrepreneur, and I grew up around that. That was my life from a very young age. But little did I know that as I was growing up as this little girl, going to my father's auto body shop, helping him file papers and picking up phone calls, greeting customers and talking to them, that was helping me build my confidence and for what I do now. But what I will say is that, you have to practice confidence every single day. There are days that I still wake up and I don't want to go and talk to this person because I may not feel my most confident self, but I challenge myself and I push myself to go do it because I know if I don't do it, then I'm going to take a step back. But I think with confidence and getting out there and pushing and reaching your dreams, you have to be able to push past mentally those voices in your head of telling you oh my gosh, no, this isn't it, the anxiety, and just use that anxiety, use those voices to fuel you to get it done because it's inevitable. Whoever you are, whether you're LeBron James, Elon Musk, Mark Cuban, all of these people, we all experience the same emotions, but the only difference that separates us from the woman who actually did the Sprinkles company from the one who didn't was she just pushed past all those voices and the anxiety and the pressure and got it done.
So Karly, I want to turn it to you because I'm curious as a content creator, I think we probably both bump up against this. The reason that I was able to take my content creation career to the next level, a big part of it was because I came from the corporate world, was hiring the influencers. So I saw the budgets that the brands had.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't scared to ask for bigger numbers because I know I'm just a line item. It ain't that serious and it ain't that personal. So I don't take it that personal if they say no. Their brief just could have been something that's not me. But also, I'm not scared to ask for it because I know it's there. Most people I find are really nervous to ask for what they're worth, for what they want. They're scared they're going to lose the deal. Do you have any tips for negotiating with confidence or going out and asking for what you want? Or how do you even set your price? How do you even know what you're worth?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have always been a believer. I think a lot of us know the quote, you miss 100% of the shots that you never take. And something that's really helped me is similar to what you said about being a line item is taking the emotion out of it. Because when I first started as an influencer, I would be like, okay, well, what is kind of the formula for me? Is it I pitch 100 brands, I land 10 deals, and that pays me that much? Well, I'm not focusing as much on the 90 no's as I am on the 10 yeses. So taking really the emotion out of it and realizing, I guess, I'm a line item. If I fit into the campaign, it works. And that's not to say that I don't bring something to the campaign, or I don't have value, or I don't have worth. But disconnecting my own self-worth and how I feel about myself from if a company or a brand says yes or no has helped me so much, because I've reshaped my world to be like, that didn't work out, but it's not because of me. It's not because of me personally. It's not because they met me and they were like, we hate her. Like, maybe they just didn't have budget. Maybe they're not working with Canadian creators at this time. Maybe they only want to work with men. Like, there's so many factors that I will personally never know. So I have to take all of my no's and my rejections as redirection into the yeses in my life. And I think another really big piece of that is coupling the removing my own personal worth with those no's is feeling immense gratitude with all of my yeses, because I think it's really easy to get caught up in people saying no to you all of the time, and really easy to bypass people saying yes to you because of the imbalance. So I remove myself a lot of my emotions from it, but I also give myself a lot of grace and gratitude for when things really do work out, to make sure I'm having a healthy balance.
I love that. Great take. So, Laurie, I'm curious, the question here is, how can people create a supportive network to help them embrace their greatness? So whether you're a leader, or you're a coworker, or you're in an environment, or you're just somebody who wants to put out the energy that you also want to come back to you, do you have any tips on creating like a supportive network to embrace greatness?
Yes, absolutely. So the first thing is, if you're trying to do anything, entrepreneur, leadership, any of those wonderful things that we're here to talk about today, if you're trying to do it in complete isolation, you're probably going to burn yourself out in that process. And a lot of times people will do it in isolation because they are scared to be vulnerable, to communicate with their closer networks about their hopes and their dreams. And that's a tough spot to be in. But what I would really encourage people to do is to look at their actual networks and see who is there that they can reach out to, and to try and engage with them in a way that is a win-win. Our support system is a beautiful thing that we can build in life, but it's a two-way street. And I think, what Meghan was saying about coming from an entrepreneurial family, I also come from an entrepreneurial family, and it was a huge help for me as I built my business, but it wasn't enough. I had to go and find other groups of entrepreneurial women to really understand some of the struggles I was facing in the contemporary marketplace. And so I would really, really encourage you to look at who's there already and try and vulnerably engage with them to build that support system, but also to look for groups outside of your already set up and established groups. And just keep in mind that a great way to ensure that your support system is there for you when you need it is to always be communicating with them, finding out what is going on with them, what their challenges are, and also communicating yours. But we can learn so much from the challenging things we face. And oftentimes we will just kind of try and push past them because they're painful or maybe uncomfortable. And I would really encourage people to build the support so that you can look at those things and really analyze them and embrace them as part of your journey, because they are important.
Beautiful. So, Meghan, how does that strike you? I'm curious, are you part of any entrepreneurial groups? Do you have a sisterhood or a network? Like, I'm always so curious to hear what third-party resources people use or networks they participate in.
Yes, no, that's a great question. And Laurie brought up a good point. Your family can only support you so much, and you do need to seek help elsewhere. But for me, I am a part of, I would honestly say at this moment where I'm at in my business, my strongest support group have become my customer base. Like, my customers that have been with me since the beginning, they have been extremely supportive. And individuals that I meet, if I'm at a marketing event that, they share contact, they may say something that I have envisioned for my business, and thinking globally, if I hear that, then I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to get this person's number. We need to stay in contact. And those people, I've slowly started to build kind of like this ecosystem of individuals that will just randomly send me information and things that may be going on in their city that could be helpful to help scale the business. And outside of that, where we are located in our suite, with our suite models, I am around a lot of women entrepreneurs who understand the process and the journey that I'm going through. And so being able to share my pain points with them, dump on them, and they understand, has been very helpful. But I would say I've been very privileged to be able to have a customer base that have been so supportive and helped me grow this company.
That's awesome. Karly, I have the same question for you. Do you participate in any networking opportunities like group engagements or anything of that nature?
Yeah, it's funny that you asked this. I actually had a very deep conversation with one of my other entrepreneur friends about this last night. Something that I currently do that brings a lot of joy to my life, like I mentioned earlier, working for yourself can be really isolating if you're working from home. And something that I've been doing is we call it like girl working, where everybody comes over. A lot of my friends who also work from home come over to my house, and every Friday we have like an office experience, which is a lot of fun. And we all work in different industries. And it simulates a sense of coworkerness, and that's really great. I also have been exploring a couple entrepreneur like accelerator cohorts, because something that I did mention last night is that the influencer industry hasn't had a full life cycle yet. There's no one who's started as an influencer who has ended as an influencer. We're all very similar in like age and experience. Like nobody's done the full cycle. So it's hard to identify like people who are doing better than you or have been doing it longer than you, because lots of us have been doing it for approximately the same amount of time. So I've been looking into joining other entrepreneur organizations, because sometimes I get a little too caught up in being like, influencers are so new, but a problem is a problem. A hiring problem in my like industry is a hiring problem in like a retail industry. So I think that there's a lot of value in surrounding yourself with entrepreneurs who don't do the same thing as you. So I'm currently seeking it out.
I love that. What a great idea. Girl working is absolutely brilliant.
Oh, we love girl working.
I love that. Maybe I'm going to do that. I really like that a lot.
You should.
It's so cute. I know. Because like husband co-working is like, sometimes you just want to be like,
no, girl working is so
it's not the same as girl working. Yeah. Okay. So Laurie, really kind of like general question, because we probably have women at all different points of their careers, all different types of careers.
Mm-hmm.
Quite simply, what advice would you give someone who's hesitant to advocate for themselves in their career, no matter where they are?
Because, okay, that's a really powerful question as far as really stepping up to advocate for yourself career-wise. A lot of times people question their worth. And what I want to tell you is that every single person on this call is worthy and valuable and deserves the career of their dreams, whatever that is. I also, as I mentioned earlier, I believe that we're not all fighting over the same pie. We're building a bigger pie all together. And so I think one thing that can really be helpful is to talk to your girl work friends or your colleagues that you know support you, and to tell them what your dreams are and what you want to advocate for yourself, and to practice with the crowd that is going to support you. When we put these things out on a larger scale, we don't always get the response that we want. Sometimes it's better than expected. Sometimes there's a lack of fanfare to these things. And so it's really important just to practice it, and then go do it. And so one of the biggest pieces of advice I can give is just don't let a question like your worth, which isn't decided at work or in your career or anywhere else, is decided today, because everybody has worth. Don't let that get in the way of you advocating for what you want. Wants are not going to go away. They're not necessarily going to be things that you can just push down. It's important to verbalize them and to go after them.
Beautiful. We have about 5 minutes left. I want to ask Karly and Meghan, both as entrepreneurs in different spaces, I want to hear about like one of your biggest wins and like and we can keep it kind of concise, but what was the step that you took to go after it? And is there anything out there where you're like, and you know what I want to do next? Like, I want to do a capital raise. I want a friggin' national commercial with Maybelline. Like, nothing's too big, because I want people to hear that we dream big out here, right? And like you said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. If you shoot small, no one's going to give you more than you ask for, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, just tell me about something big that either you closed or that you're reaching for. Karly, you can start.
Yeah, something big that I closed recently, actually last week, I was just in LA. I'm from Canada, but I was just in LA for the first inaugural Forbes Creator Upfront event where you had to like apply and the Forbes team vetted your application and like personally invited you. And it was like a really cool mixture of creators and high level CEOs, owners of talent agencies, brands, so many things. Then there was probably only 40 of us, and we all got to get together for 2 days and network and strengthen our creator relationships and our agency bonds, all alongside Forbes, which was crazy. So that's something that I think was a really major accomplishment for me very recently.
Big one. That was a big one. All right,
Thank
Megan,
you.
how about you?
So for me, when I started my company 3.5 years ago, and I knew immediately that I wanted to expand. And 3.5 years later, I have 5 locations. So that is a really big win for me. It has not been easy, but it's been totally worth the journey. And for me, where I want to go next is I see Melanated being a global company. I see us in a lot of different countries, not just within the United States. Licensing deals with hotels, cruise lines, and that's my vision. When I speak it, I literally like see it. I see it in London when I used to live in London. I'm like, I just see Melanated being everywhere and not just being in one location here in the United States, but definitely it's going to be a global name.
Absolutely beautiful. So we have a question from the audience from Ashley. She said, any advice for someone who hasn't found their dream job? I'm going to toss it out there. Does anybody have a spark of genius they'd love to throw out for Ashley?
I would say for Ashley, I mean, keep trying different things. If something comes to your mind, you never know what you may like or what you may be good at. But if it comes to your mind, just test it out. At least give yourself that.
I think also too, what is very interesting, and I know this whole panel is about career and confidence, but some people just don't have dream jobs. Some people have dream lives and their job is their vehicle to their dream life. I think with the rise of entrepreneurship, a lot of us get to live our dream jobs and our dream lives, but sometimes a job is a job which fuels your dream life. So if you haven't found your dream job, maybe it's because your job isn't your dream.
I love that. We have just 2 minutes left. Laurie, I just want to ask you, I know that a lot of people struggle with family members that can be judgmental or hold them back. Even my own mom, and she was not trying to be difficult, but she said, you shouldn't leave that job, that security. And she was thank God I didn't listen to her. And I used to be very influenced. What if we have a family member or even somebody who judges us? Oh, she's trying to be an influencer. Oh, and it makes you embarrassed to post on social media or whatever your dream is. Laurie, do you have any advice for dealing with somebody like that feels a little toxic?
Yes, absolutely. So when people say things about that, it has much more to do with them and what they're going through than it has to do with yourself. So try not to personalize it. A lot of times moms will say that sort of stuff because they're scared for you and they want security and safety and all those wonderful things. It comes from a good place, but no one knows better than you how to get yourself safe and secure. So trust yourself and allow them to say these things. You don't need to judge yourself in that framework or even judge them for saying those things. You can simply just say, okay, thank you for the feedback, and allow that to just be that feedback. You are in control, and ultimately you know better than even your mom, and my mom is crying tears hearing me say this, but you know better than even your mom on how to best get you to that dream life, whatever it looks like. And on the point of dream job, this is related. Don't judge yourself if you haven't found it yet. Like Karly said, it may be a difference of kind of looking at it. And it's a journey. It's okay not to know. We expect people to know really young. You know when you know. It's okay.
Beautiful advice. Mel Robbins says about people that have something to say, let them. Let them, right? Like it doesn't have to be right around. Okay, let them. And then go on your merry way. Well, thank you so much. Everybody watching, just go out and claim your inner badass. You've got this. You only live once. Go out and do the damn thing. If you want help with coaching, preparation, confidence, again, coachjamiehess.com. It's what I love to do. And I'm so honored to have been able to moderate this panel. Thanks, everybody.
Yes, thank you. Bye.
Subscribe to this channel and also give it a like. And if you want to follow along with us in real time, you can find us at the BodCon on Instagram and TikTok.